Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, I should say. Wekiva High School welcomes you to Mustang Field for varsity football competition in a game that was postponed from last Friday due to Hurricane Milton. But now we'd like to welcome as our guests for Week 8 from Evans High School. They are the Trojans. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Before we begin our game this afternoon, we ask that you please stand as we honor America with the presentation of colors by the Wekiva High School Air Force Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. This afternoon's colors and their detail is under the command of Cadet First Lieutenant James Rabinek, carrying the U.S. flag. Carrying the Florida State flag is Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Prince Rodriguez. The Rifle Guards are Cadet Staff Sergeant Kayla Davis and Senior Airman Katsu Brown. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glow, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? The Trojans have won the toss and elected to receive in the first half. We'll take this opportunity to recognize our officials for tonight's game as they prepare to take the field. The referee tonight is Chris Brown, umpire Rock Lowry, head linesman Adrian Webb, line judge Sherwood Brown, back judge Keith Haid, and electronic clock operator Del Kneep. We thank them for their dedicated service to our high school athletic programs and join them along with our participating schools, reminding everyone to make great sportsmanship a part of this and every athletic competition. Once again, we'd like to welcome all of you to our broadcast. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, and I am joined by Neil Fisher of the Apopka Chief, ready to take you through an unusual game, Monday Night Football, as this game was originally supposed to happen Thursday night, and then, of course, was canceled due to Hurricane Milton. And now we are ready to make up that game. That does mean that for the second time this year, Wekiva will be playing 2 games in the same calendar week. And, Neil, that's certainly a test of stamina for this rebuilding squad.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. Of course, as always, just want to commend you. Excellent job of the pregame festivities. Got to hear your pipes there with the Star Spangled Banner. Wekiva, of course, coming in, as you mentioned, probably the best way to put it. They are rebuilding. Of course, Doug Gabriel, this is his first year at the helm. Come in with a 2-4 record. They have not fared very well against the power teams, which Evans is one if you prefer top-tier teams. Evans, they come in 2-4. Those 2 victories coming against combined squads with 1 victory. Their 4 losses have been to ranked teams, whether you want to look at it at the Max Prep rankings in the top 20 or the Orlando Sentinel Super 16. Evans comes in ranked number 16, and they're 4-2. And they're a team that runs about 2/3 of the time, but they do use their passing well, and they're going to get excellent field position to start this game. They'll be at looks like the 40-yard line, their own 40-yard line, and we are underway from Mustang Field, just next to the State Route 429 in Apopka.
Bryant on the return for the Trojans. That takes the ball up to the 40-yard line, where the Trojans will take over their first possession of the game, 1st and 10.
So Evans, of course, they run in form of an option. As you can see, the 2-back set. That is Nazir McMillan, their quarterback. As we mentioned, they only throw the ball about 1/3 of the time, but he has a 120 QB ranking, and they're going to get a first down on their very first carry as they go with the sweep. That
handoff is made to Ladarius Pryor, and he has across midfield for a Trojan first down. Ball spotted at the 47-yard line for a gain of 13 on the play.
And look for that a lot tonight. His comrade, his other half there, is Oliver. As
this time it is Kiwanis Leonard on the carry. That's good for another Trojan first down. The ball taken from the 47 down to the 27-yard line for a gain of 20.
Handoff again. Straight up the middle. Actually off the left side, that's Pryor, as he continues to power his way through the Wekiva defense. And you can see this is a very quick, even for a no-huddle offense, to be moved how quickly they set.
Ball on the 15-yard line after the run by Pryor.
And now that's Leonard taking the ball to the outside.
Kiwanis Leonard on the outside carry. That takes the ball inside the 10-yard line down to the 4, 1st and goal.
So 5 plays, Wekiva already facing a 1st and goal situation on defense. Handoff on that right side. Won't get in, but he will get down to the 1. So again, this is a hurry-up offense, even for a no-huddle. Line up again, this in the 2-back set. And a whistle, first penalty of the game.
Flag on the play. Offsides is called against the Mustangs. That's half the distance to the goal.
So I guess the good news is being at the 1-yard line doesn't really matter that much as far as the distance. But it does go down as a penalty. The set again. And the handoff to Pryor. Spins and powers, muscles his way. And we have a 6-0 lead for Evans. 10:07 remaining in the first quarter.
Ladarius Pryor with a 2-yard touchdown run. That makes it a 6-0 lead for the Trojans with 10 minutes, 7 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
So Evans coming out, taking care of business, playing like they have a purpose tonight. As in for the PAT is Jaden Adams. Actually, I believe that's Edgar Lopez. He's listed as the kicker. And it is blocked.
Lopez's PAT is blocked by the Mustangs. That was Jabari Smith with some help from George Phillips on the defense. And so the score will remain 6-0 with 10 minutes, 7 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
So as quick a start as you can hope for if you're on offense, as quick a start in the negative direction if you're on defense. So that was a 6-play drive covering 60 yards, all rushes. As we mentioned, Evans a very powerful team with the rush. They're averaging 375 yards on the ground, 135 through the air. Again, yet to see the air attack, but certainly living up to their billing. Actually, 329 yards rushing. Still impressive, moving 60 yards on those 6 plays to take the 6-0 lead. And mentioned Pryor doing most of the damage there. He comes in 851 yards total, 142 yards per game, 9.4 carries per average. And we didn't get a chance to see him on that series, but I guess you say his running mate, Oliver, he comes in with 13 yards per carry, average 123 yards, 733 yards total on the season, as Wekiva will get the ball. 1st and 10. A long way to go, though. They'll be moving from, I believe it's their 22-yard line. And let's see who starts. Naeem Willard started the last game, which seemed like a lifetime ago. That was against Oviedo on September 27th. And actually, it's going to be the freshman quarterback. No, actually, that's Jabari Smith, the all-purpose. He's officially listed as a free safety and a quarterback. But obviously, he is now taking over the reins under center. And I bring that up because Jackson Keeler was the starting quarterback for the first 5 games, and through the preseason. They made that switch, like I said, as Wekiva draws the offside penalty. And now the ball is all the way back at their own 14-yard line, 1st and 15. Handoff. They'll try that left side, trying to power ahead, not much. And that was actually Smith on the Wildcat. So again, thank you for joining us on this Monday night. Of course, an unusual time at 5 o'clock, having to be postponed due to Hurricane Milton. As Wekiva now looking at 2nd and 14. Ball at the 16-yard line. And they're going to go to the air, and this one is overthrown. So that'll bring up 3rd down, the first of the game. Mention this, of course, Wekiva is a rebuilding team under Coach Doug Gabriel. His first year, of course, another problem they've had, or one of the reasons that they are rebuilding, it's not just the coaches, but all the players. The majority of them left from last year, less than a handful with any experience when this year started. I certainly could use a win in general, but a win over Evans, as we mentioned, a top 16 team, would certainly be even better. Smith takes a pitch. Actually, that's Keeler. Okay, so Jackson Keeler did come in after they try a couple of Wildcats, completes his first pass. And that was to number 1, Naeem Woolard. And see if that's enough for a first down.
Pass intended for Woolard. Puts the ball at the 22-yard line and brings up 4th and 2.
So it'll be a 12-yard completion, as you just heard Mark say, not enough for the first down. And they do line up, and they will get the offside call. Excuse me,
flag on the play. Encroachment called against the Trojan defense. That's 5-yard penalty. And it's enough for a Mustang. First down.
So that's one way to get your first down. Of course, I think that was their intention. Coach Gabriel sending in the offense on 4th down to try to get the encroachment call. And so that'll put the ball at the 28 of Wekiva. As Keeler drops back, and this time unable to find Woolard. Actually, he did find him, but Woolard unable to hold the ball.
Pass intended for Woolard falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Mustangs.
So as you saw, after much different pace between these two teams, Evans running at I guess you could say, Daytona 500 or Indy 500 speed, even for a no-huddle offense, moving the ball quickly. Wekiva definitely much more slower pace, and this time it's not going to matter as Keeler goes down. No blocking there. That was Daniel Savoy.
Daniel Savoy has the sack, and that will cost the Mustangs 5 yards. It pulls the ball back to the 22-yard line, brings up 3rd and 15.
So another 3rd down being faced by Wekiva. And certainly a situation you don't want to be in general if you're on offense, but certainly not against this high-powered Evans defense. Team that does like to take risk as well. And Keeler back in an incomplete.
Pass intended for Demetrius Ellison falls incomplete, and that will bring up 4th and 15 for the Mustangs.
Again, Keeler under pressure and not a lot of room for the intended receiver to operate, as Evans will now get the ball for the second time with the 7-0 lead. Wekiva certainly needs a good punt here, as Ladarius Pryor, who did the bulk of the work on that first possession leading to the 6-0 lead, back to receive the ball at the 34, and he's not going to get a chance as that ball goes straight up. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Evans inside the 30, pending the penalty. There was a couple of flags that came down on that play.
Flag on the play.
So definitely a bad start for Wekiva. Wekiva trying to shake off perhaps the 10-day layoff.
Dead ball, personal foul called against the Trojans. So we'll be 1st and 10. That occurred after the play, so the change of possession will stand, and the penalty will be enforced from the end of the play.
So once again, folks, take a deep breath. We're going to see a high-flying offense. It's against Wekiva. So apparently, we do apologize. Thought it was against Evans, but it appears it's against Wekiva.
Yeah, the enforcement went in Wekiva's direction, so I'm going to have to assume that maybe there was just a misinterpretation of which way the signal went.
1st and 10 at the Wekiva 12-yard line, threatening to go up by 2 touchdowns, and no movement this time, at least for now, as the reception is made by Grant. And he's taken down immediately. Excellent job by that defensive front of Wekiva. No gain. Ball remains at the 12, 2nd and 10. So again, this is also a district game. Probably means more to Evans than Wekiva, as Pryor stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. So 2 plays run by Evans on this possession, no yards gained.
Isaiah McNish and Jalen Barnes on the sack.
And now facing 3rd and 10 running the one-back set, 2 receivers on each side. And we got movement. Let's go down, see who it's against.
Flag on the play. False start is called against the Trojan offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. And a replay of third down.
So Wekiva catching a break with that penalty. That'll put the ball back at the 17 and 3rd and 15, as you heard Mark Barchi, our public address announcer, say. A quick pass from McMillan, and it was completed. Won't give him a first down, gets about 5 yards. And now on 4th and 10, Evans decides to go for it.
Yeah, I'll
And
call it 4th and 7.
4th and 7. So it was actually about a 10-yard gain. Snap back to McMillan. The quick pass over the middle. Wheeling and dealing and into the end zone untouched is Oliver, who, as we mentioned, has been the half of that high-flying offensive ball carrier tandem along with Pryor, and he touches the ball for the first time and gives Evans
Cameron
the
Oliver on the
12-0.
8-yard touchdown run on 4th down. That will make it a 12-0 game for the Trojans with 5 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
So Oliver gets his first touch. It's not a running play, but it's just as effective and as effective as possible. Getting into the end zone and now out. Nope, they're going to go for the 2-point conversion. And McMillan unable to complete the pass.
Pass intended for Cameron Oliver falls incomplete. The try is no good, and so the score remains 12-0 with 5 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
So the as good a start for Evans as possible continues. As bad a start for Wekiva continues as well. That was a 4-play drive. Again, only had to move the ball 12 yards as the ball slipped off the foot of the punter.
And we have reached the midpoint of the first quarter, and so we'll pause for an official timeout.
So Evans running only 10 plays, but they've gained 72 yards. Pretty much matching their season totals as far as per average, and they have that 12-0 lead in this District 6A4 matchup as Evans wants to keep pace with Oviedo in the standings.
For those of you here in the stadium, we want to remind you that we are live streaming this afternoon's game. We're on a bit of a skeleton crew, so it's just single camera today, but we are live streaming, and that you can find that on YouTube and NFHS Network. So if you have friends or family back in downtown Orlando, elsewhere in Apopka, or anywhere in the world, and they'd like to join us live for this afternoon's game, you can send them to nfhsnetwork.com or the NFHS Network app on their favorite smart device. You can also join us on YouTube for free. We are broadcasting on our channel Wekiva Sports. That's youtube.com/Wekiva Sports. Or open up the YouTube app on your favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device and search Wekiva Sports.
And about to get back to live action again. About to get back to live action again as Wekiva trailing by a 12-0 score. And they will get possession. The roller that's recovered by Joshua Garvin, the sophomore. So Wekiva will start again, looking to get some semblance of an offense, looking to find their rhythm and get their sea legs, so to speak. This will be their third possession. Actually, their second possession. Gained 1 first down on the first possession. Gained it via the penalty. Also mentioned, this is a District 6A4 contest. Districts realigned as Wekiva goes to the run.
Gain of 3 on the play. That takes the ball up to the 38-yard line and brings up 2nd and 7.
Hand off again. It's Wekiva trying to slow down the pace. For one thing, as well as get into a rhythm on offense.
Ball carrier Mike Blackman. No gain on the play. That brings up 3rd and 7 for the Mustangs.
So this is the second District 6A4 contest for both these teams. Evans being Lake Howell in the first game, Wekiva falling to Oviedo in their game. So Evans and Oviedo 1-0. Of course, they will not play until later in the season. I'll give you that date, but certainly chance for both the teams to go to 2-0 and take control of the district as Keeler nowhere to go. The offensive line again breaking down, and the defensive line pouring in for a second sack now.
Number 9, Jaya Walls on the sack of Jackson Kaler. That pulls the ball back to the 29-yard line for a loss of 9 on the play, and it brings up 4th and 16.
So Wekiva will have to punt the ball again as Pryor lines up almost the same spot as the last time he was ready to receive the punt. It's a 31. Now he takes a couple steps back, standing right on the 30. And hopefully for Wekiva, they can get a punt off this time. And yes, this time they do get the ball going forward. And Pryor takes it on the hop. Risky play, but gets away with it. And the first man in was number 24. That was Gaines. And then he slowed down Pryor enough for the rest of the special teams to get in there and tackle Pryor. Evans, nonetheless, with the 12-0 lead, takes over possession. 3:10 remaining in the first quarter. 12-0 lead, 3:10 into the remaining in the first quarter.
Grant on the return and a minimal gain. Takes it to the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 coming up for the Trojans from there.
So McMillan lines the team up. One back set, hands it off. And that again is Pryor. Tries
Ladarius
to power
Pryor on the
ahead.
carry up the middle for a short pickup. He has 1 yard on the play. 2nd and 9 coming up for the Trojans.
And back to work they go. Already in 6th gear, if you want to use a racing analogy. That's Pryor taking it, looks at that right side, and down he goes. He'll lose a couple yards.
Pryor again on the carry.
So back to the
no gain on the play. That will keep it at 3rd and 9 for the Trojans.
So actually no gain, and as you just heard Mark Sparchi, the PA announcer, say that is 3rd and 9 for Evans, their first 3rd down being faced in this game. Almost 10 minutes in, and they're going to go to the air. McMillan finding Leonard, and he motors ahead, won't get the first down. So nice job of some gang tackling by the linebackers in the secondary, pulling him down at the 41.
Pass complete to Kiwanis Leonard. Stop made by Naeem Woolard and George Phillips after a pickup of 5 yards. That brings up 4th and 4 for the Trojans.
And Evans is going to go for it. Told you they like to take those risks. As a handoff to Oliver, he swings it around to the right, gets up to full speed and gains
Cameron
that first
Oliver
down.
on the carry, stopped by George Phillips, but not before getting near midfield and picking up a Trojan first down. Ball spotted at the 49-yard line of Trojan territory.
So an 8-yard gain, 1st and 10, back to work they go.
Oliver again on the
rush.
no-huddle offense, and he is up the middle and near first down yardage again into Mustang territory. This time the ball spotted at the 43-yard line.
That's
for a pickup of 8. That brings up 2nd and 2 for the Trojans.
Double back set. Handoff this time again to Pryor, and he'll get that first down as he
handoff to Ladarius
shotguns.
Pryor. George Phillips on the stop, but not before the Trojans pick up another first down. The ball this time spotted at the 37-yard line for a pickup of 6, 1st and 10, Evans.
So Evans has met little resistance against this Wekiva defense. They did face a 3rd and 9.
We'll pause for a Mustang timeout. Mustangs request their first timeout of the first half.
Evans facing that 3rd and 9 at their own 36-yard line to begin this possession. But other than that, they have pretty much done what they've wanted against this Wekiva defense, and they have the 12-0 lead with 59 seconds before the end of the first quarter.
We'll take this opportunity to remind you that we had to reschedule some things from last week. This obviously was one of them. This was supposed to be senior night. Of course, we did not have senior night festivities this afternoon because we want to have as many of our fans there as possible. So those senior night festivities were moved to October 24th. So that is in 2 weeks, 10 days more specifically. So October 24th, 6:15 p.m. we'll be celebrating senior night for football, cheerleading, band, athletic training, and JROTC prior to the start of the homecoming game against Lake Howell. So that is senior night, homecoming, middle school band night, and anything else that you can think of to celebrate is all going to happen on October 24th, our next home game right here at Mustang Field.
And we get back to the live action. Evans on the march again. They already have the 12-0 lead, need 10 plays to score the 12 points as they hand it off. We've seen this throughout the first quarter. It's just a matter of do they go left, center, or right, and I believe that was Pryor taking it that time.
Pryor on the carry. This time he's down to the 31-yard line.
Another 6-yard gain.
2nd and 4 coming up.
And now McMillan takes the ball himself.
McMillan on the QB keeper, and he is across the 25-yard line for a Trojan first down. I'd like to personally thank Coach Gabriel for calling that timeout and giving me just a moment to stop announcing like an auctioneer, because Evans running this no-huddle offense does not give you time to catch your breath.
Yeah, again, this is a quick pace even for a no-huddle offense. You know, being a racing fan, I'd say this is like watching the Daytona 500 or the Indy 500, as McMillan, again, doesn't pass the ball often, but when he does, he is effective. And there
pass
you see
complete to Devontae Grant. Stop made by Michael Ellis and David Reese in the secondary. That's good for another Trojan first down. The ball spotted at the 12-yard line of Mustang territory.
The 10th play of the drive, which began at the Evans 35, Wekiva had its opportunity to regain the possession, forcing Evans into a 3rd and 9, but they were able to gain 13 yards on 3rd down and 4th down. In motion is Leonard, one back set. McMillan runs to the right, rolling out, and was that caught? No, it was out of bounds. If
Pass
it was
is
caught.
Completed, but not in bounds. That'll bring up 2nd and 10, and we have reached the end of the first quarter. 12-0 the score here at Mustang Field on the makeup day for Week 8. Trojans 12, Mustangs yet to score here on Monday afternoon football action from Mustang Field.
About to start the second quarter from Mustang Field. Wekiva has its work cut out for it, falling behind 12-0 to the top-tier team, the Evans Trojans. This is a District 6A4 contest. Evans needed only 6 plays to take that 7-0 lead. They received the opening possession. They scored on 10 plays in total, and this is the 10th play of this drive as they look to take a 3-touchdown lead. That's Pryor. There's the most of the rushing, and he continues to power and motor and through that defense into the end zone, and now an 18-0 lead for Evans. That was a 12-yard carry.
Pryor with a 12-yard touchdown run to make it an 18-0 game for the Trojans with 11 minutes 53 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
And so for the second consecutive time, Evans is going to go for the 2 PAT. They missed the first. They kicked it, and this time they are successful. Back on the ground, the pound and ground certainly doing its job, and that was Pryor.
Ladarius Pryor has the 2-point conversion, and so that will make it a 20-0 game with 11:53 here in Q2.
So now Evans has run 21 plays and moved the ball 107 yards. So they're averaging about 5 yards a game per play. And actually, 137 yards. So Evans averaging about 6.5 yards per gain, and here's a break for Wekiva. They get something to build on as the return goes up to their own 38. A nice return.
Mustang return by Jabari Smith will set them up with good field position for their first offensive possession of the second quarter. Ball is spotted at the 39-yard line of Mustang territory. And we have a late flag on the play.
So mentioned Evans are 4-2.
Dead ball, personal foul, called against the Mustangs. That's 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down, Wekiva. Well, so much for the excellent field position.
Evans ranked among the Orlando Sentinel Super 16. Their 2 losses were certainly understandable, losing to 2 ranked teams in their own right, as Wekiva goes back to work from their own 24-yard line now. After the penalty. And we're going to have another touchdown. This time the defense gets into the act.
Pick 6 for number 11, Daron Rogers.
And with 11:32 remaining, a 26-0 deficit being faced by Wekiva now.
Neil, did you get the distance on that?
No.
Happened so fast, I missed it too.
So.
From where he picked it off. 25? We'll call that a 25-yard pick 6.
So as Evans goes back now to the 1 PAT, the kick. Ball down, kick up. And this time the 1-point attempt is successful.
And Neil, remind me, who did you say was their kicker?
Jaden Adams. It's number 14, but on the roster, he's a quarterback. The kicker is Edgar Lopez. He's 22, so I have no idea what to do.
Okay.
Evans with the 27-0 lead. As we mentioned, this is a team that's been on a mission. They were highly ranked at the beginning of the season, high expectations. They come in with a 4-2 record, and certainly those high expectations are shown in their schedule. Opening the season against Apopka and Jones, losing both those games by a combined 13 points, 6 points to Apopka, 6-0, 28-21, 7 points to Jones. And again, Apopka and Jones, teams with aspirations of making a deep run into the playoffs themselves. That's schedule that you take on in that situation. As Wekiva actually dropped that ball, they will recover it and take over 1st and 10 as we get another flag on the field.
Zion Gammon is on the return but is unable to make any forward progress. However, there is a flag at the end of the play.
So Wekiva will take over again.
Dead ball,
And
personal foul called against the Trojans. It's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. And that will be still first down for the Mustangs. This will now push them into Trojan territory with their best field possession of the day at the 47-yard line.
And so Wekiva will go to work needing to score some points. Really, before even getting the points, they need to get some first downs. Only one first down.
Flag on the play.
11:28.
Dead ball. False start called against the Mustang offense. 5 yards from the previous spot and a replay of first down.
So Wekiva now will be on their side of the field, their own 48, facing 1st and 15. So mentioned Evans, their schedule beginning with 2 top-ranked teams with always deep aspirations as they go out of the one-back set, in the fumble by Blackman. And it's an Evans recovery, as it just looked like Blackman never really got the handle on that ball. And now Evans with the chance to further increase what's already a 27-0 lead.
Fumble is recovered by the Trojans. They'll take over just inside Mustang territory at the 49-yard line.
So that's another disadvantage Wekiva has been facing throughout this game, the field position. Evans, since the rest of Evans' schedule as they go back to work with McMillan under center, lining his team up. And he goes to the pass, and Wekiva catches a break there as the intended receiver was open.
Pass was intended for Tristan McLeod, and it falls incomplete. That brings up 2nd and 10 for the Trojans.
Evans has since beaten Poinciana, Horizon, Lake Howell, and West Orange. Again, a schedule loaded with those top-tier ranked teams. West Orange qualifying for one as Pryor takes it, sweeps to the outside, now cuts back along the hash mark, and he'll have a first down. Looks like it's about an 11-yard gain. Back to the rush.
Ladarius Pryor on the carry for the Trojans. That takes the ball up to the 40-yard line. It's just short of first down yardage. 3rd and 1 coming up.
And now they go for that first down, handing it off, no problem. Look like they got close to 10 yards as they continue to motor and use that left side.
Pryor again on the carry with some extra yardage after initial momentum stopped. And he is down to the 30-yard line for a pickup of 10. 1st and 10, Evans.
Hand off again, and this time trapped behind the line of scrimmage. Pryor goes down. Still 10 minutes in this first half.
Pryor again on the carry, Billings on the stop, and that was good for a loss of 1. Puts the ball at the 31-yard line and brings up 2nd and 11.
And Pryor stays in the backfield. Evans now using the H-back as McMillan hands off, and Pryor slammed down as soon as he got that ball handed off. The defensive line crashing through.
Ladarius Pryor on the carry. The stop is made by Avante Scott. That's a loss of 2 on the carry, and it brings up 3rd and 13 for the Mustangs from the Wekiva 33-yard line. So 2 TFLs in a row. That's about as good as Wekiva's defense has managed to string together all day. So with any luck for Wekiva, they'll be able to build on that.
Yeah, so McMillan, one back set prior to his right motion is Oliver, and he takes the ball. They're going to stay on the ground, and a nice job by the Wekiva defense to string that ball along the sideline. Evans unable to turn the ball upfield.
Cameron Oliver on the carry, Jalen Barnes on the stop.
So far, as we're a quarter and 2 minutes in, if you've seen Evans, this is what you expect. If you look at their stats, this is what you expect. If you look at the scores and the schedule, this is exactly what you would expect. And now they're going to also have a penalty. It's a holding against Evans.
Flag on the play. Holding is called against the Trojan offense. That's 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. And replay of the down.
So considering how potent Evans' offense has been, especially on the ground, it might be better off if you decline this penalty and try to just do 1 and out. Remember, now they do have that third down to run again, and it will be from their 43, or the Wekiva 43. And this time, Wekiva's defense comes up big as number 6. Right place, right time. Read that perfectly.
Mustangs make the stop and push the Trojans further backwards. That puts the ball all the way at the 46-yard line for a loss of 5, and it brings up 4th and 26.
And it looks like Evans is going to go for it. Go for that first down. Probably partially because
4th and
they
26.
are in no man's
I guess
land.
that gives you a lot of confidence.
Well, I think this is more because they're in no man's land. Oh, no, they are going to punt. So, again, Evans doing some non-traditional stuff. In the end, it doesn't really matter, but they did huddle as if they were going for the punt. I also see number 81 in motion. That's McLeod. He originally lined up on the right sideline, and here's the punt. And Jabari Smith takes it at about the 12. He'll try to gain some yards on that left side. It gets up along the sideline, comes back, and now goes down. So Wekiva escapes that fumble. No damage done in terms of scoring, but it does take away a possession from them, and Evans gets more time to take off the clock. I realize we're not even halfway through the second quarter, but again, with that 27-0 lead, time does come in, even if Evans is not intentionally trying to take time off the clock. Wekiva needing as much time and possessions as possible.
Jabari Smith on the return. It puts the ball at the 32-yard line of Mustang territory. And Wekiva takes over from there with 1st and 10.
7:41 remaining, first quarter. Keeler lines up his offense. He'll be running out of the one-back set with 2 receivers. Pretty much their standard, but he won't run this first play.
Offsides is called against the Trojan defense. That's 5-yard donation to the Mustang cause and a replay of 1st down.
And that'll bring up 2nd and 5.
It's still 1st and 5.
Excuse me, 1st and 5. Handoff. Trying the middle of that Evans defensive line.
Hampton Lawrence on the carry. And that's good for a pickup of 6. That'll bring up 2nd and 4. Excuse me, good gain of 1, I should say. That'll bring up 2nd and 4 for the Mustangs.
Back to work. Jackson Keeler out of the shotgun. Familiar set. He'll find Willard. Willard shakes and bakes along that left sideline. And that did look like it was close to
Willard
horse
on
collar.
the carry. Stop made by Daron Rogers. And that is enough for a Mustang. First down.
All the way to the Wekiva 49, their second first down of this first half. See if they can build on that. It's been a long first half, trailing 27-0 for Wekiva. 7 minutes exactly, second quarter. Clock did stop as Willard was taken out of bounds. And now under pressure, Keeler escapes, rolls right, trying to make something happen, and tipped, intercepted. The second turnover of the game by Wekiva. And that was an excellent play by Keeler, except for the fact that he just put too much air under it, allowing the Evans defense.
Has an interception at the 29-yard line, and so the Trojans will take over from there.
So Keeler did an excellent job of escaping the pass, extending the play, but he was unable to get that ball in any type of line drive in a spiral, and he just hung it up there for the Evans secondary. Again, it was initially tipped and then picked off. And so Evans, with that 27-0 lead, second turnover, they'll go back to work on offense, 5:45 before halftime. And the ball now at the Evans 28-yard line. And again, even though we're not even at halftime, Wekiva now in a position, even if Evans not doing it intentionally, as they go back to the pound and ground. Prior, not much room up the middle, but again, that goes back to their strategy now.
Prior on the carry.
Even if it's not intentional in terms of trying to run out the clock, they do have that luxury.
Pickup of one, puts the ball at the 30-yard line for 2nd and 9.
And Pryor back to work.
Pryor again on the carry. And this time it's a pickup of 4 to bring up 3rd and 5.
Ball at the Evans 34. So my point, Mark, is that in this position, having that 27-0 lead in the first half, Evans doesn't necessarily need to score points. They just need to keep the ball away from Wekiva. And they'll continue to keep the ball as the trap. Pryor taking the handoff. Slams ahead. Very little slash and dash from Evans as we get to the second quarter water break. The pound and ground feel and design has been far more effective.
Pryor on the carry takes the ball to the 39-yard line. And that will be, looks like it is enough for the first down. And that takes us to the midpoint of the second quarter. 5 minutes, 46 seconds remaining in the first half, and we'll pause for an official timeout. Orlando Health Jewett Orthopedic Institute is honored to be on the sidelines tonight, on the field and off. We provide a full spectrum of orthopedic services and a multitude of specialties and subspecialties, from hip, knee, and shoulder experts to orthopedic traumatology and more. Offering proven leading-edge technologies and techniques, Orlando Health Jewett Orthopedic Institute provides patients world-class personalized care from a number of convenient locations throughout Central Florida. We're proud to feature Florida's first dedicated orthopedic hospital. Learn more at orlandohealth.com/ortho. Orlando Health, choose well.
So Evans certainly has put themselves in the position that they wanted to, the 27-0 lead, as we now get the pass from McMillan, and it's going to be underneath. Nice touch, nice location, and another first down, 14 or so yard gain, as Grant with the reception.
Devontae Grant has the catch, stopped by Naeem Willard, but not before getting across midfield into Mustang territory.
The ball spotted at the Wekiva 45-yard line.
45-yard line for a pickup of 16 on the catch.
Evans looking again to extend their win streak to 5.
Ladarius Pryor on the carry.
As Pryor, nowhere to go on that play, swarmed down by the right side of the defensive line. And he'll actually, nope, no gain. So it'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the Wekiva 45. I'm Neil Fisher. And the other voice you hear is Mark Barchi, who's also our public address announcer here at Wekiva High School. Thank you for joining us on this Monday afternoon. Game rescheduled from last Friday due to Hurricane Milton as the pound and ground reappears. That's Pryor just slamming ahead, lowering the shoulders. He'll pick up 5 on 2nd down, setting him up for 3rd and mid-range. Certainly a manageable down and distance. It'll be from the Wekiva 40. 27-0 lead. 27-0 lead for Evans. Out of the one back set, actually 2 back set, and we got someone different. This is carrying that ball around that right side, motoring. That's Tyrell Spencer, the 5'11" sophomore, taking his turn.
Spencer on the carry.
And
ball is spotted at the 36-yard line. Let's pick up a 4, and it brings up 3rd and 1, but there's a flag on the play.
And scratch that 4-yard gain as it looks like it's holding.
Holding is called against the Trojan offense. That's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
And that'll take the ball back to right at midfield. So now it's 3rd and 20. Excuse me, 3rd and 15. Gotta get to the 35 for Evans. 3:45 before halftime, and the pass from McMillan. And he's gonna try to scramble himself and gets a collective, gets a nice gain, but again, needed 15, only 5. And so that'll bring up 4th and 10 now from the Wekiva 40.
McMillan on the carry for a pickup of 9. Puts the ball at the 41-yard line, brings up 4th and 6. And as we've seen, Neil, Evans is not going to punt the ball if they have 10 or fewer yards to go.
Nope. They've made that very clear. McMillan back. And I'm not sure if that was caught, but even if it was,
it is complete to Tytravius Sutton, but it is not enough for the first down. So that turns the ball over on downs to the Mustangs. They take over from their own 39-yard line.
So
it was a gain of 2. They needed 6. I could be wrong, but I thought I saw a little wobble in that pass. I think one of the Wekiva linesmen may have gotten a finger on it.
Just enough.
Made that come up short and forced Sutton to come backwards for it. And that
either
left him
way,
nowhere to pivot.
Either way, it is Wekiva possession, as you announced, Mark, and that certainly is good news for Wekiva. They've now got 2 possessions, getting Evans off the field. Your next goal is to start to gain some field position. They've operated, for the most part, other than one play, on Evans' side of the field. As now they will take over at the own 39-yard line. Keeler drops back and finds his receiver. And that will set up 2nd and short.
Catch is complete, and that brings up 2nd and 2 for the Mustangs from their own 47-yard line.
So an opportunity for Wekiva to get on the board, gain some momentum heading into halftime. They trail 27-0.
Flag on the play.
And no sooner do I say an opportunity and the flags come out.
Dead ball. Offsides. Encroachment called against the Trojan defense. That's a 5-yard donation to the Mustang cause, and it is enough for a first down. Well, Neil, Wekiva will take it any way they can get it. That puts the ball into Trojan territory at the 48-yard line, and it's 1st and 10
Mustangs. Keeler Lining the Mustangs up. Empty backfield with an H-back being used. Passing play. And he finds Ellison.
Pass is complete to
Kevis Davis. So Wekiva will be at the Evans 40-yard line, an 8-yard gain.
2nd and 2 coming up for the Mustangs from the Trojan 40-yard line.
Stay in that empty backfield set. Keeler looking left. Finds Smith, who slipped after receiving that pass.
Short pass to Jabari Smith. Stop made by Zyreek Roberts. That puts the ball at the 39-yard line for a gain of 1. And it brings up 3rd and 1.
So, of course, mentioned Wekiva and Evans. This is the 17th year that Wekiva has been open, the 18th season for Wekiva. However, they've only played Evans 9 times, which, at least in my opinion, I think that's somewhat lower than you expect. The schools are only about 8 miles apart.
Yeah, there was a time when Wekiva and Evans were in the same district.
Well, they are, of course. They've been reunited this year. And Keeler going down. He had nowhere
Roberts
to go.
Takes down Keeler on the sack. And we'll pause for a Mustang timeout. That pulls the ball back to the 48-yard line for a loss of 9 on that sack. And they'll make it the Wekiva 49-yard line. And that'll bring up 4th and 13 when we come back from the timeout. The Mustangs are on the road next week. They will travel to Jones to take on the Tigers. That is scheduled for, well, really this week, I suppose, since we're already in next week. That is coming up Friday night at 7 p.m. at Jones, and that'll be week 9. Again, even though we're currently living in week 9, this is actually week 8. And then once again, coming up a week from Thursday, the Mustangs will have a combination celebration. It's middle school band night. It's senior night for football, cheer, band, athletic training, color guard, and JROTC. And it's homecoming for the class of 2025. All happening a week from Thursday right here at Mustang Field. We're bringing that to you live on YouTube and the NFHS network as well. Then the Mustangs have just one more. That'll be week 10. And of course, the Mayor's Cup, as always, will wrap up the season. That is a tradition here between Wekiva and Apopka, the crosstown rivalry, the Mayor's Cup, the Tater Bowl if you prefer, informally. It's always Wekiva versus Apopka in week 11. We trade off who hosts each year. This year it is our year to host, and so that will be right here at Mustang Field to wrap up the season November 1st at 7 p.m.
And so facing 4th and 13 from their own 49, with just 1 minute exactly before halftime, Wekiva empties the backfield. And I guess at this point, you're down 27-0. You have nothing to lose. Keeler drops back under pressure, and he'll actually gain about a yard. But again, you needed 13. So for all intent and purposes, that is a sack as tempers now start to flare. And there's another penalty as the
Gabriel Assad has the stop against Jackson Kaler, and we have a late penalty marker on the play. There was no gain on the play, so that will turn the ball over on downs to the Trojans.
And now let's see who the penalty's against or if they're offsetting. As I mentioned right before that break, these schools are actually only 6 miles apart. Of course, if you're unfamiliar with this area of Central Florida, we're right next to the 429 on Hiawassee. You just take a left coming out of Wekiva, and you go 6 miles down the road to Silver Star, hang a left, and you'll be at Evans. Again, they've met 9 times in the 18 years. This is the 10th meeting.
After the play, personal foul called against both teams. Those penalties offset. The result of the play is over on downs. Trojans ball 1st and 10.
Wekiva actually holds a 5-4 advantage in the series. They've won the last 5. Evans actually won the first 4. The last time these two teams met was in 2021, and I remember that game very well. It went to overtime, and Wekiva winning 25-19, scoring a touchdown on the first possession of overtime and then holding Evans. Another oddity, or at least what I think is an oddity between these in the series, is that they've, again, only 6 miles apart, but they've only been in the same district for 4 seasons. That was 2015-18, as McMillan goes back to work. And, that's Sutton wide open on that left sideline.
Pass intended for Tetrevius Sutton falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up for Evans.
So Wekiva catching a break there. Should have been a completed pass, quite frankly. And now 2nd and 10. Of course, Sutton, a freshman, so some inexperience might have played a role in that incompletion. Nonetheless, still at midfield. So McMillan goes back, throwing the ball a lot more now with that 27-0 lead. And that's a completion, short completion. And we got a stoppage on the field as it goes for 4 yards. The pass, that is. Puts the ball in Wekiva territory, but more importantly sets up 3rd and 6, certainly a more manageable down and distance. Then 2nd and 10. And again, it also gives Evans an opportunity to run some more time off that clock. If you're Evans, the one thing you don't want to do is give Wekiva an opportunity to get a play here in the last 30 seconds or so and go into halftime with the momentum, even if you don't score. Of course, if Evans maintains possession of the ball, then Wekiva can't score. But even if they don't get the first down, it's very unlikely Wekiva's going to get the ball in a position in which they can score. They're going to have to go a long way down the field, at least 80 yards after the punt. Meantime, McMillan rolls right, throws on the run, finds his man, beautifully thrown ball, accuracy and a dart to number 81.
Pass is complete to the Trojans.
McLeod.
Tristan McLeod, and that does put the ball deep into Mustang territory for a first down. We'll pause for an injury timeout.
That's one of the Evans down on the field. Looks like one of the linemen as well.
And that's number 54, Malaki Henriquez.
And the ball is at the Wekiva 31, so it is officially a 15-yard completion. Again, McMillan to McLeod. So mention McMillan, the quarterback. This is primarily a running team. Evans, that is. They've ran the ball 187 times to 106, so a little bit less than 2-1, but they're a very efficient team. They're beasts, quite frankly, on the rushing. Mentioned at the beginning of the game, 329 yards on the ground.
Malaki Enriquez makes his way off with the assistance of the Trojan athletic training team. The result of the play was a first down. The ball is spotted at the 32-yard line, 1st and 10 Evans.
Oliver and Pryor both gaining at least 120 yards on the game, but they also gained 135 yards through the air, and McMillan with the 107.7 QB rating. This time, though, not going to happen as Evans' defensive line crashes in. There was a fumble, and with 18 seconds remaining, Wekiva makes something good happen. They recover the fumble, and so that brings the Evans possession to an end for the first time in this first half. We've seen Wekiva.
Fumble is recovered by the Mustangs and taken out to the 43-yard line, where Wekiva will have one more offensive opportunity before we wrap up the half. 18 seconds to go. Apologies for the camera issue there. just entirely the wrong moment for me to click the wrong button, so I will take responsibility for that. But
And let's see if Wekiva Coach Gabriel decides to roll the dice
Mustangs
there.
will take, or sorry, the Trojans will take their first time out of the first half.
So with the ball on the 43-yard line, Wekiva 43, you heard Mark Barchi, who is also our public address announcer, as well as my on-air partner. I'm Neil Fisher. Thank you for joining us on this Monday evening / early night. Of course, this game was rescheduled from Friday due to Hurricane Milton. We do hope everyone out there is safe. I know there are still some people out there who have not yet gotten their power returned. So, of course, obviously, if you're listening and watching to us, you do have your power returned, but certainly hope that everyone you know as well has their power on, and let's hope that those who do not have their power, that will be within the next few hours. But just to wrap up the notes on McMillan, like I said, a 107.7 QB rating, 65% completion, and where he's really effective is he's averaging 12 yards per catch, per reception, as Keeler rolls right. Speaking of completions, he'll get it over to Ellis, and he gets out of bounds with 9 seconds remaining.
Pass complete from Keeler to Ellis. That's across midfield, and it's good for a Mustang. First down.
Ball spotted at the Evans 44. So that is officially a 13-yard completion. Keeler to Ellis. And Wekiva with 9 seconds left will have 1, maybe 2 plays to try to gain some momentum heading into halftime, and we are not going to get that play off. Another penalty. Another dead ball penalty as well. And it's going against Evans. So Wekiva catching a couple breaks here in the last 20 seconds of the first half. First the fumble, and now the Evans penalty. Evans ahead 27-0. They have dominated this first half, except for the last minute or so since the fumble. Keeler drops back, and he's going to go down. Line crashing. And that's how the first half, well, nope.
Keeler on
Still
the
2
QB
seconds
keep.
remaining.
And the stop is made for the Trojans by number 90, Chase Henderson. The Mustangs will take their final timeout to stop the clock with 2 seconds remaining, and it looks like we have one more play coming up here in the first half.
Yeah,
right,
give Keeler officially a 2-yard gain. And when we snap the ball back, it'll be from the 42-yard line. So I assume logic dictates that we're going to see a Hail Mary into the end zone. So as we head into halftime, again, this has been a thoroughly dominating performance for 23 of the 24 minutes by Evans. Of course, Evans, as we've mentioned throughout this first half, a team that has aspirations of making a long run into the postseason. They're also looking to stay atop the 6A 4 district standings. They come in 1-0, tied with Oviedo. They're on a 4-game winning streak, beating each team by at least 28 points, coming off an impressive victory over another team with aspirations of going long into the playoffs, 39-13 over West Orange. And they certainly have looked like a team with a purpose and a mission tonight, scoring the first 27 points on the first 4 possessions, as Keeler will go down, and that caps off the first half. I guess not.
Keeler is taken
Couldn't be
down
more
by
appropriate.
Gabriel Assad at about the 40-yard line, which will be about a 16-yard sack, and that is where we will leave it for the first half. 27-0 is the score at intermission here on what should have been Thursday night football, but is now Monday afternoon football. The Trojans versus the Mustangs going into halftime.
And one quick note before we go into halftime, that sack of Keeler just couldn't be more appropriate, again, to cap off what has been a thoroughly dominating first half for Evans, a team that has played like they have a purpose tonight. We'll be back for the second half from Mustang Field And this is the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network. Ready to get the second half underway. A 27-0 lead for the Evans Trojans. As I mentioned throughout the first half, Evans coming in, top-tier team looking to make a long run into the playoffs, 4-2. Lost their first two games to Apopka and Jones, and a couple of other teams traditionally expected to make long runs into the playoffs. A 13-point difference combined between the two. Since then, they've won 4 games, winning each by at least 13 points, including a 39-13 victory over West Orange, a team also ranked in the Super Sentinel 16. And pretty much as you would expect when you're looking at the tape, the schedule, the scores, in the stats, it was a dominating performance. We'll get to the scores in just a minute. Wekiva certainly needs to come out and put a couple of first downs together. They had 3 in only the first half, and that's a different quarterback. No, that is Jackson Keeler, and they remain in the one-back set. They will take the snap from the 40, or they would have. Now there is a penalty.
Flag on the play.
So Evans.
False start is called against the Mustang offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and a replay of first down.
Evans, 190 yards in total compared to only 44 for Wekiva. Well, 19 for Wekiva. And I'll get to that in just a moment. 190 yards on 41 plays for Evans as Keeler hands it off. And nowhere to go, as the line of scrimmage was now the Wekiva 35.
Taylor on the QB keep. The stop is made for the Trojans by Blackman on the carry. Cornell English on the stop. Gain of 2 on the play. It brings up 2nd and 13 for the Mustangs.
So that moves the ball up to the 37. So Evans really did most of the damage in the first 13 minutes or so of this contest. They actually moved the ball 137 yards in their first 3 possessions. First possession capped off with Pryor going 2 yards at 10:07 as Keeler drops back, rolls right, and he finds Smith, who was trying to get into some shake and bake action but couldn't keep his grounding. Nonetheless,
Jabari Smith has the catch for the Mustangs, and he is across midfield into Trojan territory at the 45-yard line for Mustang. First down. So that's an 18-yard catch for Smith.
The second touchdown scored at 5:38. That was a McMillan to Grant 8-yard pass. And then the third touchdown was another 2-yard blast from Pryor, as that'll bring up second down. Just get rid of that ball and don't take the sack. That was with 11:53 of the second quarter. And then the fourth touchdown, the defense getting into the act. A 25-yard touchdown pick six, 11:32. And the first PAT was no good. Second PAT was a 2-point. That was no good. And then the last 2, they went for the kick. This is Evans scoring, and they were good, leading us to the 27-0 lead with 11:32 remaining in the first half as Keeler hands off to Blackman. Blackman sees some daylight. We got a big gainer here. He blasts down that left sideline and is finally taken out of bounds, and there's the flag. Roughing after the play was completed.
Mike Bachman on the carry for the Mustangs. Jaden Gibson on the tackle, and a late flag on the play.
And that was a good 5 yards after when the Evans defensive player began the tackle. So that will take the ball all the way down to the 15-yard line, and clearly the deepest Wekiva's penetrated into Evans'
dead ball
territory.
after the play. Personal foul, late hit called against the Trojan defense. That'll be half the distance to the goal. The ball was at the 15-yard line, so that will move it to about the 7.5. First and goal, Wekiva.
So give Blackman 30 yards on the gain. And then, as Mark just says, another 7 to 8 yards, and Wekiva first and goal. First time this entire game they've been inside the 20, let alone the 10. One back set, that's McNish trying to power his way through that left side. And he'll get down to the 3. That'll be a 4-yard gain. Bring up 2nd and goal. Wekiva trying to get on the board. They trail 27-0. Again, if you joined us late in the second half, Evans scoring 27 points in the first 12 minutes and 28 seconds of this game. Certainly looking like a team with a purpose and a mission as McNish takes it for a second consecutive time. And I don't believe he gained anything. Actually, he did lose 2 yards trying to power his way through.
on the carry. And pulls the ball back to the 5-yard line. 3rd and goal coming up for Wekiva.
Trying to muscle his way through that tough Evans defense. That'll be a loss of a yard, or 3 yards, excuse me. As your remarks say, our public announcer as well as my on-air partner, 3rd and goal from the 5. Wekiva needs to get a touchdown. That's Blackman. Nope. Fake handoff, and Keeler goes down. The Evans defense was not fooled.
Jackson Keller with the QB keep. Zyreek Roberts makes the stop. No gain on the play, and it brings up 4th and goal for the Mustangs.
So it comes down to this one last play. Again, Wekiva facing that 27-0 deficit certainly might not have a fact if they can score. Needing the touchdown might not have a fact on impact on the outcome of this game, but you certainly want to score heading into the next game. As Keeler, the throw over to Blackman, and he'll swing around and dance into the end zone.
Pass is complete to Blackman for a Mustang touchdown.
5 yards, and Wekiva 27-6, 9:28. They take the opening kickoff and cut the lead down to 3 touchdowns, 21 points. Fritchley in, ball down, snap, kick up, and give Fritchley the PAT conversion.
Fritchley PAT is good, and that puts the Mustangs on the board. 27-7 the score with 8 minutes, 28 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
So Wekiva drives 60 yards, 9 plays on the opening possession of the 3rd quarter. Exactly what the doctor ordered. So again, still trailing by 21 points. It might not have a factor on the outcome, as Evans will get the ball back. And as I mentioned, Wekiva really has not shown any ability to stop Evans when Evans truly is trying to move the ball. Scoring their 3 touchdowns in the first 3 possessions, 137 yards, and then the 4th touchdown was a pick six, 25 yards. But that certainly has got to lift their spirits, certainly make them feel a lot better heading into the second half of this game in the last 3 games. Certainly giving them a blueprint for how to score as well.
It's a 5-yard run?
Yeah. So Fritchley kicks off with 9:28 remaining in the 3rd quarter on this Monday night game. Originally scheduled for last Friday. And Evans will take possession at their own 21-yard line. So mentioned 190 total yards for Evans on 41 plays. A 41-21 difference in plays, also 190 to 44 yards. Now, if you include that pick six, it's actually only 19 for Wekiva. Either way, it is a dominating performance in that first half as Pryor continues to get the ball and do his pound and ground. That'll be a 1-yard gain. Ball up to the 26. And again, this time you get some nice yardage, significant yardage, 9 yards. Nothing fancy on either of those plays.
Pryor on the carry. This time he is out to the 33-yard line, first down.
And a 3rd consecutive run to Pryor.
Pryor again, this time a gain of 4. 2nd and 6 coming up for the Trojans. from their own 36.
36. So of those 190 total yards, as Pryor takes the ball, he'll swing it around to that left, motor ahead, and then pound and ground the secondary at third level, a first down, and we saw this all throughout the first quarter. And Evans not going to the pass. They started the first half the same way. As I mentioned, a six-play, 60-yard drive began the game. All rushes, as that was a 12-yard gain, a 9-yard gain for Pryor, and now he will gain another.
Pryor on the carry for a gain of 3. That puts the ball
yards
at the 48-yard line. 2nd and 7.
Pryor again. This time he can't turn upfield. It goes down. That's actually not Pryor. Got a different carrier, Spicer, on the carry.
Spicer on the carry, taken down by Avante Scott with help from Barnes. That'll be a loss of 2 on the play. It brings up 3rd and 9 for the Mustangs.
Evans.
Excuse me, for the Trojans.
At the 46. 132 of that 190 yards were on the ground, and 83 were to Pryor, so he has now gone over 100, carrying the ball 5 times now in the second half after Wekiva cut the lead to 27-7. And they'll give it back to Pryor, and down he goes at the line of scrimmage. So the defensive line
Pryor
finding
on the
its
carry.
footing.
A loss of 1 on the play. That takes the ball all the way back to the original line of scrimmage at the 45, and it brings up 4th and 10.
And, of course, now Evans punted only once in the first half. And they're not going to punt this time either, as McMillan looking over to the sideline. As Carlos Odom, the head coach. One back set, trips on the near side. Actually, 4 receivers on the near side and nobody on the right. And now
we'll
Coach
pause
Odom
for an Evans timeout. The Trojans request their first timeout of the second half.
Coach Odom calling that timeout on this 4th down play. And again, it's not necessarily critical to the outcome at this point, but certainly if Wekiva is able to hold Evans, they will be building some momentum. Scored on the first possession of the second half, the first time they've shown some signs of life on offense. And this would certainly be able to build on it. They would take over possession on the Evans side of the field, as well as come up with the big play being the stop. So again, rounding out the first half stats, it was exactly what you would expect coming into the game. And if you watched the first half, the stats were exactly what you expected. 190 total yards to 44 for Wekiva. That's not including the 25-yard pick six, with 11:32 remaining before the halftime. A 41-21 advantage in plays run. Of those 190 yards, 132 on the ground, 83 by Pryor. He has since gone over 100 in the second half. Don't be surprised if he gets the ball again. Nope, they're going to punt. Coach Odom changing his mind and takes a Wekiva bounce, picked up by Smith. He's coming to your right, down the right hash mark. He's got something going as he crosses into Evans territory, breaks a couple tackle, and it's a foot race down to the end zone. And he does not get in, but it'll be 1st and goal from the 2-yard line. And like I said, now Wekiva building off the momentum of scoring a touchdown on the first.
Smith, coast to coast, or at least nearly so, pushed out of bounds at the 1-yard line after a nearly 70-yard kickoff return. Mustangs will immediately start with 1st and goal.
And so Wekiva building off that touchdown scored on the first possession. And yes, they actually I shortchanged Smith a yard. He made it down to the 1, not the 2. So Wekiva first and goal at the 1. Doesn't get any better than this for potential. Quarterback keeper with McNish behind the line. And he falls forward. It was a bad snap. Picks up nothing. So wasted play by Wekiva.
QB keeper. No gain on the play. Second and goal coming up.
Handoff, again, the Wildcat back to McNish. Falls forward and still no sign from the refs.
Wildcat snap to McNish, and he is into the end zone for a Mustang touchdown.
So Wekiva going with power in the pound and ground. They bring the big guy in, Isaiah McNish. The 6'4" junior, 230 pounds. Couldn't get it in the first time. They take a second crack and hit pay dirt. And now Wekiva, after trailing and being dominated in that first half, they've cut a 27-0 lead to 27-13 with the PAT pending, 4:11 in the third quarter. Snap, ball down, kick up. And the lead now 27-14.
PAT is good. That cuts the Trojan lead to 27-14 with 4 minutes 11 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
So 27-14, 4:11 in the third quarter. As we get ready to kick the ball off, Evans will be doing the kicking. Wekiva Fritchley will be doing the kicking after scoring their second consecutive touchdown at the start of the second half. Fritchley rolls the ball, going for the onside, and picked up by Zarik
Onside
Roberts.
kick is picked up by Zarik Roberts, and so the Trojans will take over inside Mustang territory.
So certainly much more competitive game, much more life, much more air and energy in Mustang Field after Wekiva scored a couple of touchdowns in this start this third quarter. But remember, Evans put up 27 points in 13 minutes and 28 seconds to start the third quarter. Now, I also want to point out that this has been a typical Wekiva game in the fact that they just get off to such a poor start, and then they'll have a spurt where they score a couple of touchdowns, explosive plays, or at least they'll have a couple of explosive plays which set up touchdowns, what we saw on the 1-yard run there by McNish. And even though Wekiva does look good on those
Mustangs
plays to
request
start
their first time out of the
during
second
those
half.
explosive plays and they cut into the lead, they're having to come from behind by 4 touchdowns, and that's awful difficult even for the most explosive teams. So Evans will take over possession at the Wekiva 48 following the onside kickoff recovery. They're still over on their sideline with Coach Odom. So Carlos Odom, the head coach of Evans, again, 4-2 record. Got off to a rocky start, but did play a very difficult schedule, taking on Apopka and Jones. Held Apopka to only 6 points. That's pretty much unheard of. Give you an idea of their defense. They've since won 4 in a row, including a victory over West Orange by 26 as Pryor takes the ball. He picks his way through each of the 3 defense, and when it's all said and done, a 1-yard swing pass turns into about 17-yard gain.
Pryor on the carry, and that's good for a Trojan first down. The ball spotted at the 35-yard line.
So that's officially 13 yards, most importantly, 1st and 10. As they go back to work, Evans.
That is Cameron Oliver on the carry.
And Oliver continues to matriculate that ball down the field for Evans. And now we do have a flag, though. Flag sitting over about at the 34-yard line on the Wekiva sideline. Wekiva comes in 2-4. Their 2 victories over Horizon and Eustis. And certainly if they can cut into the lead and I'd say come out of here with no less than a 2-touchdown loss, that would certainly be a major victory for them, certainly something they could build on moving forward. They have had a very difficult schedule. Perhaps you could even compare it to Evans.
Penalty flag is waved off, and so the play stands as it was, and that will be a first down for Oliver. Ball is spotted at the 28-yard line.
So 2 consecutive first downs by Evans. Again, they don't pass. They rush the ball significantly more, but when they pass, they're a very effective team, gaining 12 yards per carry. That's, of course, a first down. And actually, Oliver carried that ball all the way down to the 18. So that was a 17-yard gain for number 3. And McMillan goes back to work in that 2-back set. Takes the ball himself as he jukes and jives on that right side, a couple stutters, and he's picked up another first down as well. All the way down to the 6-yard line, so an 11-yard gain for the QB, and first and goal. And no play, whistle before. Evans with the penalty. So Evans has had 3 or 4 offsides or encroachment penalties tonight. Somewhat of an oddity. You usually don't see so many dead ball fouls against a team as highly ranked as Evans, highly thought of as Evans.
Flag on the play, false start called against Evans, 5 yards.
Handoff to Pryor.
Pryor on the carry. Stop is made for the Mustangs by Jameer Tyson. That takes the ball down to the 9-yard line and brings up second and goal.
Quickie again. Pryor picking his way through that center and carrying a couple of defenders with him as well. They're down inside the 5, down to the 3. Lining up again. And Pryor nowhere to go this time. He went down at the line of scrimmage as the defensive line collapsed the offensive line. And so now it'll be third and goal from the 3. No second thoughts about it. No hesitation from Coach Odom. 2-back set.
Pryor on the carry. 4th and goal from the 3-yard line after no gain on the previous play.
Everybody bunched up in the middle. The handoff to Pryor goes on that left side. And yes, he is in.
Pryor on the carry.
No, he is not in.
Stopped by number 6, and he is just short of the goal line. That turns the ball over on downs to the Mustangs. They will have a 99-yard field in front of them, but they will have the field.
So another big play for Wekiva. 3 big plays at the start of the second half.
They've been running no huddle so much that you blink and you miss a play.
So as Mark said, of course, Mark Barchi, the voice of the Wekiva Mustangs as far as the public address announcer. He is also my on-air partner. He also directs and produces our broadcasts. As he said, it's a 99-yard field for Wekiva, but that does build some momentum. 3 big plays now. Handoff to Blackman. He finds some room to at least get to the point where he'll take the handoff outside the end zone.
Blackman on the carry, a pickup of 1, and that'll bring up 2nd and 9 from the Mustang 2-yard line. Speaking of directing the broadcast, I will have to ask for your forgiveness on the shaky camera work. We are a little understaffed tonight, so besides being your PA announcer, I'm also your director, your camera operator, your producer, and if you don't laugh at my jokes, your swimming instructor. So I've got arms going in different directions here, so I appreciate your patience.
Keeler in the end zone. They roll the dice, and that's Blackman taking the slip screen. And now they'll definitely have some room to operate as
Blackman again on the carry, and he's around the outside for a Mustang. First down.
it was a pass.
That puts the ball at the 15-yard line.
13-yard gain. Keeler to Blackman as nightfall is starting to descend now on Mustang Field.
And now we'll pause for a Trojan timeout.
Next to the State Route 429 southeast of Popka.
Evans requests their second timeout of the second half. So we'll pause here with 1 minute, 6 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
Isn't that her? Oh, no, that's not her. So Wekiva back to work, 1st and 10. Keeping it simple. The handoff to Blackman.
Blackman on the carry, a pickup of a long 1 or a short 2. That brings up 2nd and 8 for Wekiva.
Of course, Wekiva taking possession after coming up with the goal line stand. And then the 13-yard Keeler to Blackman pass, getting him out of the shadow of the end zone, at least giving him some room to operate in the backfield.
Encroachment called against the Trojan defense. That's a 5-yard donation to the Mustang cause. And it brings up 2nd and a long 3 for the Mustangs.
From the 21, handoff to Blackman. He'll try that left side, and he's powered in
Blackman
down.
on the carry. Stop made for the Trojans by Christopher Sannon. No gain on the play.
So 3rd and 4 for Wekiva, trying to build.
The Mustangs do not get the snap off in time, and so that will take us to the end of the third quarter. 27-14 is your score. The Mustangs down by 2 touchdowns with 12 minutes left to play here on Monday Night Football as we extend Week 8 from last Thursday's game into the weekend and now to Monday. Trojans versus Mustangs going into the fourth quarter here at Mustang Field. We'll take this opportunity to remind those of you here in the stadium that if you are depending on a ride to get home from tonight's game, if you've not already done so, please give them a call and let them know that we are headed into the fourth quarter and they should be on their way to pick you up so that our administrators can close the facility and get home to their families promptly on this evening that they were not expecting to be away from their families in the first place. We appreciate your cooperation.
We begin the fourth quarter. Wekiva certainly playing much better in the third quarter than they did at the start of the game, falling behind 27-0. They've cut the lead to 27-14, and now face 3rd and 4 at their own 21-yard line. This possession beginning after coming up with a goal line stand, and then a 13-yard Keeler to Blackman reception, putting Wekiva in at least a position to be able to operate no longer in the shadow of the end zone. Evans looking for his 5th straight win, as well as staying in first place in District 6A4 standings. Keeler with Blackman on his left takes the snap, a wide open man, and Smith can't come down with it. Keeler overthrowing him.
Pass intended for Smith falls incomplete. That'll bring up 4th and 3 for the Mustangs.
And another opportunity for Wekiva goes by the wayside.
Well, Neil, I don't know. I mean, it's a dangerous game of chicken that you'd be playing here, but at this point, I feel like as dangerous as Evans has proven to be, I think you're playing in 4-down territory at this point. I mean, obviously, if you whiff here, you're giving them, exceptional field position, but you're down 2 touchdowns, and Evans has been pretty stingy, so I don't necessarily disagree with this decision here.
Yeah, but it might not be as easy a decision as it normally would be.
So here we go. Mustangs pretty much must convert here. You certainly don't want to go down 3 scores with less than 12 minutes to go.
Yeah, and also especially after making some momentum in this third quarter. They hand it off and fumble. And that was Blackman carrying the ball. He wouldn't have gone anywhere. Well, he wouldn't have gotten the first down. The Evans defensive line, as you said, Mark, has been stingy all night.
Blackman on the carry. There is a fumble on the play. Blackman manages to recover the fumble. However, that will turn the ball over on downs to the Trojans. So that puts the ball at the 22-yard line, and Evans takes over from there with 1st and 10. So it doesn't actually matter whether he had recovered the fumble or not.
No.
Either way, it's the same outcome. I mean, other than in the stats, it's not a fumble lost at least.
Yeah, what matters is as soon as Blackman got the ball, he was looking at 3 Evans defensive linemen grabbing him. So McMillan, go back to work. The 2-back set. And they'll keep it on the ground, which I'd be very surprised if they go to the air more than a couple
Oliver on the
times.
carry. Gates on the stop. A loss of 1 on the play. 2nd and 11 coming up for the Trojans from the 23.
So at this point, you're already at field goal range. Although, again, I'm not sure how Coach Odom feels about his field goal kicking team. We've only seen him punt once tonight.
Yeah, the difference is that a field goal here does make it a 3-score game. And
Right.
starts to make make Wekiva's odds look pretty long.
As they keep it on the ground, trying to blast through that left side, pound the ground. And that was Pryor taking the ball.
Pryor on the carry for a gain of 4. That puts the ball at the 19-yard line and brings up 3rd and 7.
So, again, you're now looking at a 36-yard field goal if you don't gain any yards. And as Mark just said, that would give you a 16-point lead. Normally 3 scores. It's 2 if you get 2 2-point
It could be done in 2,
conversions.
but yeah, it certainly makes the odds longer for Wekiva if they could put the game at that distance.
Hand off to Pryor, and he tries that right side, and he does get some forward momentum and progress, but not enough
Pryor
for the
on the
first
carry,
down.
Xavier Gates on the stop. That pulls the ball up
To the 16.
to the 16-yard line for a pickup of 3 yards.
And that sets up,
4th and 4 coming up for the Trojans.
and they're not going to go for the field goal, or at least they're not sending the field goal unit on. They might be trying to pull Wekiva offside. That's always a possibility in this situation. Pryor, the lone back, trips on the far side, 1 on the right. And they're going to pass McMillan to the air, and it's caught on the slip screen. Nothing fancy, just a 2-step drop, quick pass, and a 1st and goal for Evans.
Pass is complete to Stan Dorson. It's not enough for a touchdown, but it is enough for a first down.
Dorsman.
Now Pryor on the carry. And he is into the end zone for a 5-yard touchdown. What do you say, Neil? You have that for about 5 yards?
Looks good to me.
Once again, with the no huddle, they got there faster than I could even get a read on where the spot was.
And again, it's not just the fact they're going to no huddle. A lot of teams use no huddle. It's just the pace with which they execute the no huddle. So again, it's like watching the Daytona 500 or the Indy 500 or even Talladega. Those are your fastest tracks and racing tracks in the world. Hand off to Pryor. He slams ahead. And 2-point conversion, no good.
Pryor on the try, and he is stopped short. So the score remains 33-14 with 9 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, okay. Pryor ran that, right? Yeah, I'll get him in a minute. I was going to get him in a minute. Thank you. So Evans moves the ball 21 yards on 5 plays. And, of course, the big play, not only because it was the largest gain with 11, but it was a 4th and 4 and kept the drive alive. That was the McMillan to Dorson 11-yard pass. Brings the ball down to the 5-yard line, and from there, Pryor pounds his way into the end zone on the right side of the offensive line. And we are back now. That's Smith. He's got a lane, still on his feet. And now he goes down. Good field position for Wekiva.
Smith on the return.
As 9:19 remaining, Wekiva facing a 19-point deficit. So still a long way to go, but certainly better than what it was at halftime. 27 points at halftime. So I'm Neil Fisher. Thank you for joining us from Mustang Field. On this Monday afternoon, obviously not your normal day or time. Hurricane Milton changing the schedule as Jackson Keeler hands off to Pipkin, who cuts back to the left, and he'll pick and shift his way for about 5 yards. Good first yard gain.
Pipkin on the carry.
Up to the 45. And Pipkin again, the same play, shifts and picks his way. And I believe he has the first down, looks like it. Ref standing right at the 50-yard line. So that's about as easy as it gets for scoring. Number 5 carried the ball for 5 yards, moving from the 40 to the 45 to the 50.
Pipkin on the carry to the midfield. That's good for a Mustang first down. Flag on the play. Encroachment called against the Trojan defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. And a replay of first down.
So the ball will be at the Evans 45, and we continue the 5-yard gains. With now 8.5 minutes remaining as Jackson under pressure, dropping back. And then it throws a live to fight another day pass.
Ball's thrown away, and that'll bring up 2nd and 5 for the Mustangs.
So, of course, throughout this game, we've talked about how quickly Evans runs this no-huddle offense of theirs. And I've mentioned throughout, if you're a racing fan, but even if you're not, I think you can understand. It's like watching the Daytona 500 or a race at Talladega or the Indy 500. You know, they run at over 200 miles per hour, as that's incomplete, too high. And
pass intended for Demetrius Ellison is overthrown and falls incomplete. That brings up 3rd and 5 for the Mustangs.
And this Evans, if you look at the Evans offense, going back to how fast they run this no huddle, it certainly does look like they're running at over 200 miles an hour on 6 cylinders. But you can also get an idea of just how fast it's running when you compare it to Wekiva, who's also running a no huddle. Wekiva looks like they're moving in slow motion in terms of how quickly they're snapping the ball, as that was Woolard, and he had nowhere to go. Excellent coverage.
Jackson Kaler screens to Naeem Woolard, who is taken down promptly by Jerome Rogers.
Rogers with excellent coverage.
No gain on the play. In fact, perhaps a loss of 1. That brings up 4th and 6 for the Mustangs. And once again, Neil, I think you're in 4-down territory
nothing
here.
to lose. Certainly now that you're on Evans' side of the field.
Yeah, I mean, a punt really doesn't buy you anything here.
Evans doesn't need to score at this point. They just need to run the clock out.
Opportunity to
Wekiva
make it.
will get that first down. Keeler, nice pass, nice run route. Excellent execution.
Pass is complete to Jabari Smith, and that's enough for a Mustang first down.
So with 7.5 remaining, Wekiva keeps possession of the ball. Now at the 36, a 9-yard gain on that pass. And now they go deep. Keeler looking for Pipkin.
Pass intended for
Ellis.
Ellis. Falls incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd and 10 for the Mustangs. Threw it right into my blind spot there where the camera doesn't go.
So nighttime has descended upon Mustang Field next to the State Route 429 in southeast Apopka. Wekiva trying to cut into a 19-point lead against Evans, who's looking for their 5th victory as Blackman, that was actually Pipkin.
Pipkin on the carry.
Trying to pick his way through a very nasty Evans defense.
Zyreek Roberts on the stop. Ball spotted at the 35-yard line. It brings up 3rd and 8.
So a 2-yard gain, 3rd and 8, as you just heard Mark say, from the Evans 34 as we drop under 7 minutes. And another flag
on the play.
It's been a lot of penalties. I wouldn't be surprised when
Prior to the snap. Encroachment called against the Trojan defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and a replay of 3rd down.
So I was going to say, Mark, I wouldn't be surprised when I add up the penalties. Both teams have over 10 of them.
And a lot of them are dead ball.
Yeah, Evans has committed, I'd say, at least 5 or 6 in that territory. And that's Pipkin sliding off the tackle, barges ahead, and gets some spurtability, and I believe a first down as well.
Lawrence Pipkin picks up some extra yards after contact, finally taken down by Roberts, but not before picking up a Mustang first down.
So the ball now down to the Evans 21.
Oh, I'm going to call it the 20 just so we can say you got them into the red zone. But we do have a flag on the play. Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct called against the Trojans. That'll be half the distance to the goal. Still Mustang first down.
So half the distance is the 10-yard line. And first and goal for Wekiva.
And we have reached the midpoint of the 4th quarter. And so we'll pause for our final official timeout as we take a water break here at Mustang Field. The Mustangs trail 33-14, but they have the ball inside the Trojan red zone with 6 minutes, 17 seconds remaining in the ball game.
They're actually at the 11. So first and 10 for Wekiva, and before the break I said they were at the 10. They're actually at the 11, which means they can get a first down without the touchdown. They do need a touchdown, though, either way, trailing 33-14 to Evans, and this is Keeler trying to make something out of nothing, and smartly he throws another live to fight another day pass.
Loosely intended for Jabari Smith falls incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd and 10 for the Mustangs.
So story of this game as we now drop under 6 minutes is pretty much the same as it has been in the 4 losses for Wekiva. They get off to a rocky, rough start, and then in this case 27-0. They then put together a couple of very explosive plays, cut into the lead, give us some hope, make it a competitive game. We'll see if it's too much to overcome like it was in the 4 losses as Keeler picks up the loose ball. And just
a
like
bad
that,
snap fumble is contained by Jackson Kaler. It is a loss on the play, but the Mustangs will get another snap as it brings up 3rd and 11. So props to Kaler there. He did the best you could do with that scenario, only lost 1 yard.
It could have been much worse. So Wekiva now on 3rd and long. Out of the one-back set. And to the right sideline, that is, I believe, Smith catching it. Yep. It'll be a short gain, though. So
Jabari Smith on the catch. Devontae Grant is there to make the stop immediately after the catch. It's a gain of 2 on the play. Takes it to the 9-yard line, and it'll be 4th and 9 for Wekiva. So, Neil, odds are already stacked against Wekiva. I think this is pretty much a must convert. It is technically possible to get a first down without a touchdown, but only by less than a yard.
As we now go to under 5 minutes. So again, Wekiva fell behind 27-0. Evans putting together drives of 60, 12, 65 yards, scoring offensive touchdowns, and then a pick six, 25 yards running to score to 27-0. As we get a timeout.
And we'll pause for a timeout. The Mustangs request their 2nd timeout of the 2nd half.
We'll be back to see if Wekiva can convert and cut into that 19-point lead. This is the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network.
Once again, those of you here in the stadium, we want to remind you that we are headed into the last 4.5 minutes of Monday Night Football, and we would appreciate your help allowing our administrators to close the facility and get home to their families promptly after the conclusion of tonight's game. If you are depending on a ride to get home tonight, please give them a call if you haven't already done so. Let them know that we are heading into the closing minutes of tonight's contest, and we would like them to be here and ready to pick you up promptly after the conclusion of tonight's game. We appreciate your cooperation.
So here we go. As Mark and I have both pointed out, this is the last stand for Wekiva, trailing 33-14 to Evans. Fell behind 27-0. Have cut into that lead, 27-14. Now 33-14. They need to gain 8 yards for a first down. It's 4th and 8 from the 9. One back set. Keeler takes the snap. He's going to run it himself. Escapes. Can't escape the second time. As a matter of fact, fumbles and picked up by Roberts.
And there is a fumble on the play. The ball rolls out of bounds before it can be recovered by Zyreek Roberts, but it doesn't matter because that was 4th down, and so that will turn the ball over on downs to the Trojans.
So the fumble does benefit Evans, not tremendously, but it does give them about 10 more yards to work with, 10 yards farther from their own end zone. With 4:20 remaining, though, I don't think we're going to see anything but a steady dose of the running backs that we've seen throughout this game, that being Pryor and to a lesser degree Oliver and McMillan, the quarterback. Of course, mentioned Pryor, who takes the snap, has gone over 100 yards early in the third quarter. He had 83 at half. And there he gained 7. As we are now 4 minutes from the conclusion of this game. And actually, make that 6 yards. Another handoff to Pryor, same exact play, running right to left, breaking tackles and carrying a couple of would-be tacklers.
Pryor on the carry for a Trojan first down.
So another 10 yards. Puts the ball in Wekiva territory. The 48 to be exact. And now they hand it off again to Pryor, but this time he starts on the left. Goes straight ahead, bowls for 8 yards. Down to the Wekiva 40. And now I think you're starting to see a clinic of offensive blocking and running backs being able to pick their lane and pick their way through traffic, as well as why you run the ball in the first half. Wearing the opponent down. Physically wearing the opponent down. And this time Pryor will lose a couple yards.
Pryor again on the carry.
As we are now under 3 minutes.
Third and 3 coming up for the Trojans from the Mustang 41-yard line.
Handoff again. Nope. McMillan takes it himself. A couple of jukes, a couple of jives, shakes and bakes right to left. And
McMillan on the carry, just short of first down yardage. Ball is spotted at the 39-yard line, and that will bring up 4th and 1. And we'll pause. We have a late penalty marker on the play.
.220 remaining.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct called against the Mustang defense. It's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. That'll be an Evans first down. So at this point, clearly emotions getting the better of Wekiva on that play.
Yeah, and that might just be the proverbial final nail in the coffin with 2:20 remaining. I know Wekiva still has some more timeouts.
Yeah, they have one, although they did not show any particular urgency when they had 3rd and 4th down in the previous play. They let a lot of time come off the game clock before they called the timeout, so I did not get the sense that Wekiva is playing with a sense of urgency here.
But even if Evans does not get another first down, there's not going to be more than maybe 20 seconds remaining when Wekiva gets that first down. So obviously, it was unlikely Wekiva was going to be able to score 19 points and win this, but you're still hoping that at least maybe they get the ball back and put together a couple of offensive gains that had some impact. As that Pryor catches that, I'm surprised they passed.
Yeah, it was a short one.
It's a 4-yard gain.
Pass is complete to Ladarius Pryor. Stop made by Jameer Tyson and George Phillips.
So that puts the ball down at the 20, 150 remaining. They go back to the pass as Rogers catches it, and he'll scamper into the end zone. Leonard.
Pass is complete to Kiwanis Leonard, and he scoots into the end zone for a Trojan touchdown.
So 39-14 now, which does match their total from their last game against West Orange. That was a 39-13 victory. So a 21-yard run. It was a simple screen pass and a couple of bad tackling because the wrong angle was taken. And What appeared to be a 19-point loss will now be a 25, possibly a 26-point loss as they go for the 2-point conversion. And it will remain 39-14.
PAT try is no good, and so the score remains 39-14 with 1:41 remaining in the fourth quarter.
So give Kiwanis Leonard the touchdown, the 5'9" sophomore. He's had a couple of big catches tonight, catches that have had big impact. They've only thrown it to him 3 times, but all 3 passes have been either a touchdown or a first down. So once again, just want to thank you for tuning in on this Monday night, as well as an unusual starting time of 5 p.m. Night has descended upon Mustang Field, right next to the State Route 429 in southeast Apopka. Wekiva will have one last opportunity to put together a couple of plays, offensive plays.
Dead ball personal foul was called against the Mustangs. That'll be a penalty assessed on the kickoff. As 15 yards from the 40-yard line moves it into Mustang territory at the 45-yard line.
And again, not that it matters in terms of the outcome, but neither coach, Coach Odom for Evans and, of course, Coach Gabriel for Wekiva, can be happy with all the penalties. Of course, we normally don't have the manpower to have someone keep stats, but certainly tonight with a skeleton crew, even less than we normally have because of Monday night and the 5 o'clock start, we're keeping our own
and also
stats.
The fact that we didn't have school today. Today was a teacher work day, so everybody who's here is here just for this, not for school.
Yes. The point is that we are keeping stats in terms of the drive charts, but we don't have the ability right now to add them up, so I can't give you the exact amount. But to use the old cliche, certainly if you use the eye test, I'd be very surprised if either of these teams had less than a dozen penalties. As Evans gets ready to kick off. So there's something we haven't seen tonight. The ball falling off the tee. Pretty much seen everything else. There's the whistle, the ball kicked. It's a short kick as it's being kicked from the 45, and Wekiva falls on it. Had a little trouble deciding who was going to pick that ball up, and they'll take over.
Kickoff is fielded by Lawrence Pipkin, and that will spot the ball at the 18-yard line. Wekiva takes over from there with 1st and 10.
So probably Wekiva with one last possession. Of course, in high school, like college, the clock does stop momentarily while the first down chains are being moved. So if they can get a couple first downs, they might be able to even squeeze in a couple extra plays. But of course, Wekiva will fall to 2-5. Next week, on Friday, they'll travel to Jones. They'll fall to 0-2 in District 6A4 play competition. As Blackman takes the ball, he'll get out of bounds. So that will stop the clock. Looks like about a 6-yard gain.
Blackman makes it out of bounds after advancing the ball to the 29-yard line. That's a pickup of 11 on the play. It's good for a Mustang first down.
Evans in the meantime. They'll go to 5-2 on the season, a 5-game winning streak. And they will go to 2-0 in the district standings. And one step closer to Oviedo and Evans as Keeler gets out of bounds, stopping the clock again. We'll be one step closer to Evans and Oviedo meeting in the second to last week of the season, but the last weekend in which district play is taking place, and that'll be for first place in the championship of the district.
Ball up to the 37-yard line on the QB keeper for 2nd and 2 from the 37.
Keeler, Woolard, slants over the middle. He's on the move. He's trucking. He's going to get into the end zone. And it's not quite over yet, folks.
That's Naeem Woolard. 63 yards into the end zone for a Mustang touchdown.
Not quite over yet, fans. As the Evans defense laps, took a play off, and Jackson, Keeler, and Naeem Woolard made them pay. Still a long ways to go, and it really would be something of a highlight reel comeback, but certainly showing signs of life and not going quietly into that good night, which has to make Coach Gabriel at least feel a little bit better. Huh? Who has scored? Oh, Willard. So Fritchley in for the PAT attempt. He's 2 of 2 tonight. And nope, Fritchley is not in. It's going to be a 2-point attempt. Blackman lined up left of Keeler. 3 receivers in, got a tight end. Keeler takes the snap on the run. We've seen this all night, the rollout, and finds Ellison in the back left corner. 2-point conversion, and the lead now down to 17 with 1:08 remaining. 39-22.
Conversion is complete to Demetrius Ellison, and that will make it a 39-22 ball game with 1:08 remaining.
And so, of course, now we will get set up for the onside kick. Of course, if Evans can recover this onside kickoff, they'll just snap the ball a couple more times and let the clock run out. There'll be about a minute remaining. And remember, the ball does have to travel 10 yards before a member of the kicking team touches it. The receiving team does not have to allow the ball to move 10 yards before touching. Wekiva lining up, Fritchley waiting for the whistle. There's your whistle. Fritchley looks to his left, now his right. And here we go with the onside. A shortstop-like hop. Went right to one of the Evans up men, and he handled it like a shortstop as well, cleanly fielding it. And that will pretty much do it for this game. 1:05 remaining. Evans will take a couple snaps.
The onside kick is recovered by the Trojans, and so it will be Evans' ball inside their own territory with 1:05 remaining in the ball game. Ball at the 40-yard line.
So it looks like actually Evans is going to run the ball a couple more times. Nope, they take the knee. And once again, I was wrong, but the bottom line is one more snap and this game will be over. So your wrap-up tonight, Wekiva will fall to 2-5, 0-2 in District 6A4 competition. Evans will move to 5-2 on the season, a 5-game winning streak, 2-0 in the District 6A4 standings. And really the story of tonight's game is the same story as it was in the 4 other losses. Wekiva just off to a rough start, not ready to play mentally, giving up big plays as well as mistakes. 137 yards on the first 3 drives by Evans. Pryor scoring on 2 yards with 2:07 a run. McMillan to Grant, an 8-yard pass, 5:38 in the first quarter. And then the third offensive touchdown, Pryor with another 2-yard run, 11:53, and just 21 seconds later, a 25-yard return, pick 6, and Evans was up 27-0. Wekiva did show some life at the start of the second quarter, but again, and once again, too much, too long, too little, too late. So, Mark, take us to the finish line.
That takes us to the end of the ball game. Mustangs with a valiant second half comeback effort, but the Trojan lead established in the first half takes them through to a 17-point victory. 39-22 is your final score here on week 8 of season 18 of Mustang football. We want to thank everybody for coming out to support your Mustangs here in the stadium or watching us online. Thanks also to the Trojans fans who made the trip up here or who tuned in online. Mustang fans, once again, we remind you that Wekiva is on the road for week 9, which is actually still just this week, if you can believe it. So Friday night, the Mustangs travel to Jones to take on the Tigers at 7 p.m. And then a week from Thursday, they are back here for not just senior night, not just homecoming, not just middle school band night, but also Week 10 versus Lake Howell. That's all coming your way a week from Thursday, October 24th. We'll get senior night festivities started for football, cheer, band, athletic training, and JROTC at about 6:15 p.m. Make sure you get here early for that. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. And then, of course, we will present the homecoming court for the class of 2025 and their underclassmen cohorts